Welcome back to the FACEIT CSGO Spring League Finals weekend. We've seen Map 1 and we've traded one DreamHack Winter CSGO champion for one DreamHack Winter CS 1.6 champion. Patrick.
Thought about that for a long time, right?
I had that. I was like, what am I going to say? How am I going to introduce Khan? It's like, oh, there you go. Came to me. Now, we were talking about you earlier before you joined us, saying that you are the psychiatrist of the FNATIC CSGO team.
I'm not sure about that. Hopefully my experience and, you know, I don't know, I like, every time I watch them, even though everybody's like against, you know, their odds of winning, I always like genuinely feel like they're going to win the game. Like, it's just part of my DNA, I guess. But if that makes me a doctor in this kind of world, no, probably not.
It was Devil Walk's statement that you calm their nerves, you tell them, you know, if it's just a bad luck
just wants
round,
a salary increase, I think.
Well, there you go. Who will be the psychiatrist of the psychiatrist? And, well, we'll cover that deep subject. We're moving on to the ninth round. Team Dignitas lead by 1-0 against Titan. And Dignitas looked very, very good on Mirage, which was Titan's map. So, positive start for the Danes. Your thoughts, Patrick, on the game, the bits you saw, and just general in terms of the two teams?
Right, so I biked in here a little bit later than you guys and missed the first half. But for
Diva!
A busy time, so we're running some other stuff here in London with our Dota team. Nevertheless, I did see a Dignitas playing very smart, and eventually they were the superiors in this matchup that is between two of the most tactical teams on the planet. And I wouldn't be surprised, Stuart, if we're going to see the winner in this FACEIT league in this very matchup. I think it's pretty much here where it decides. Obviously, it's a loser bracket, correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously it's great to get a good start here and be in the favor when you go into the winner bracket finals.
Well, Dignitas, a round to the good up, or a map to the good up. And yes, you did see an advert there where a video gaming mouse actually turned into some Ninja Death Stars. So do go and buy yourself a Logitech mouse. My Logitech MX 518 does not convert into Death Stars, so clearly I'm doing it all wrong.
Does it convert into kills?
Nope. Doesn't do that either. Device gets himself a kill onto screen here as they make the push in towards the B bomb site. Leaping down, Device jumps and puts Smiths to sleep. As it will be a 3-on-4 afterplant in favor of Dignitas. And we're now going to see that Titan push come in as the grenade rattles off at the back. Device takes some damage. Kenny S is looking for anything. Can't see anyone. And as soon as he comes around the corner, he spies a Zipnix with a gun. Dupree gets himself the kill onto existence. And now it's all on MBK, 1-on-3. And he is between a rock and a very hard place. As Dignitas will collect themselves up the pistol round.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what MBK is doing right now. He has obviously given up here and trying to save the armor, I guess. Because we do know Titan X-Very games, they're extremely good at the eco rounds, which they often find themselves in, but also often find themselves winning.
Sicknix, an old FNATIC player of the beginning of CSGO days. He's come on leaps and bounds in this all-Danish lineup. But what were your thoughts on him back then versus back now?
I think he probably have evolved a little bit when it comes to the mental side of the game. And I think he now finds himself in a lineup that is more suitable towards him. I guess less aim-oriented, more tactical, more of a standard playstyle. I mentioned earlier that Dignitas is a very strategy-oriented team. They have a lot of flashbangs that are planned. They have timings. Generally quite defensive, passive playstyle. I mean, not the pistol round though, but overall, I saw him back then as a very talented player, probably the best player in that team. He was able to pick up CSGO way faster than some of his colleagues, such as like Trace and Freeze. So, which is kind of a common symptom though, being a young player. But yeah, he has the future ahead of him, and we're gonna see a lot from him in the future. I would place him easily top 3 in Denmark.
You started within Europe, and then you went to Denmark. Here we go. It's slow push coming in from the Titan side. The bomb's moved up the banana walkway, and there are two players just causing some aggravation on the A side, making sure that no one thinks to leave that A site before the push does inevitably eke its way into Smith's territory, in on the B, as Dupree gets himself the frag onto Smith's, and it'll be one more, Scream goes down, and that'll be bomb planted at B, and now that A rotation comes in, and it'll be Too little, too late, as the Titan players retreat and huddle up.
Right, and they're making the sensible call here to once again save pistols and armors, hoping for more luck in the second eco round. Just to comment a little bit quickly here on the Smith and Scream's positioning. I like what they tried to do, but I think they ended up going into action a little bit prematurely. They should have baited a little bit more. I mean, I think it was Smith going down first. Either way, one of them went down first, but the timing was a little bit off. So it was kind of from a pro player's perspective, it was kind of obvious that something's weird going on here because they were hiding at the same spot. So if they had, like, just have synced the timing a little bit better and used the guy in the CT arch coming from the CT base a little bit more, they could actually have there was a strong setup by all means, but timing was a little bit off, and that's something we see actually quite a lot. I started out saying like it's a very strong tactical teams, but I always see them doing these kind of small errors every now and then, which I think is not down to the tactics and the understanding of the game. It's more down to the communication. I think they are not as strong communicative-wise as, let's say, NIP. Let's talk about German teams for that sake, going back to 1.6 of course. But I think communication is a little bit off for their games. I think they have a lot to learn there.
Dignitas pick themselves up the first frag and will go through. It's Device who gets himself that one, and Dignitas looking good to close out this round. MBK, the last man standing in a strange position as he gets caught up in the house there. So, quick question for you. I was talking with Devil Walk earlier on as we were talking about the differences. Titan traded Kenny S in. They were on a downward trend, and they made a roster change. Right. You guys have been on a bit of a downward trend, but instead of going the roster change route, you've gone there. Let's get those guys in a boot camp. This roster worked back in November for DreamHack Winter. It can work again. Talk us through the decision-making process that you as a manager has had to go through.
Right. I mean, don't call me a politician now, but I actually think it's not as bad as things are looking. If you're looking at our past 4 LAN events, that would be MSI Beat It, DreamHack Winter, EMS, and Copenhagen Games.
DreamHack Invitational?
DreamHack Invitational, you can probably add that as well.
EMS1?
EMS1, I mentioned that. But all in all, I think our average placement in these, let's say, 5 events then is something around like top 3, top 4. And I guess going into this team in August last year, the ambition was to place ourselves in top 5 and start from there. We have established ourselves there now, but we're lacking consistency. I agree. But I do think with a young team, you shouldn't like stir things up too much, especially when we have a strong in-game leader as well. I think though we have been a bit, not going to talk too much.
Yeah, Kenny S dispatches of 2 big frags there as Titan suddenly come alive to the sound of fragging as Kenny S shows why he was brought into this roster and just exactly what he can do. Hazy and Device both go down. We're left with Fetish, who was the king of the AWP on Mirage, map 1. Those 5 minutes were a long time ago, as Dupree will be the man to lead the charge in. He's going to spy action there in the face of existence and then escape very quickly. Took a little bit of damage, or a lot of damage as well himself, down to 8 points of health. Kenny S rotates over towards the A site. The bomb is moving over towards that B site, and Kenny S will come in. There are still 2 players on B, and there are 2 players coming his way. Dupree is once again going to sound the alarm, make sure that Kenny S doesn't move, and keep Titan occupied on A, so that they've got a chance when they make this B push. Indeed, there are now 3 people over on the A side. Only 1 on B if they were to move that bomb in, but they haven't done that. Dupree was the perfect decoy, but it didn't work, or it wasn't followed up. As he pushes in, gets himself a kill, and quickly darts in, collects the nade, will toss that in, and they need to make this push on towards B sometime today. Right. It comes after Dupree is down. Fetish now goes in. There is 1 man there, and now they're going up against a 2-on-2. Fetish will push in, and he'll lead the charge for Dignitas with a short-range AWP going up against an M4 in his face. Zipnix has got the bomb down, so it's money in the bank, but he's gone in the end. And in the air, I can't understand why they took so long to go in towards B.
God knows, and I think the player that got the kill in the middle there, because what you have to do, as Titan did here, as CT on Inferno, kind of late round, you need to take some peek somewhere, and they were like so A-heavy, 3 players there, so they had to take the peek in the middle, which was risky. He went down. When he went down, the T there, I think it was that Device, or Dupree. Anyway, he should have played it a bit more passive, because at that point, 25 seconds to go, you know that rotation is going to come from B to A, And the Dignitas players, they didn't attack B at that point. They just waited, and eventually the guy died in middle. But yeah, back to the FNATIC change and all that. I guess conclusion is, yeah, we need Kenny S. But overall, limited talent pool in Sweden, and we still have faith in the team. That's why we haven't gone through a play change thus far.
So there you go. Patrick Khan Satamon stating, we need Kenny S. There's your headline.
Right.
Oh, always the sensationalist over here. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, tricky round for Titan now, obviously. But they lost 2 weapons last time. This is going to be an eco if they lose this round.
And here comes the push from Dignitas. They have 2, but they lose Zipnix to Kenny S's AWP, which is on fire at the moment as he sits deep in that A bomb site and is waiting for Danes to come onto his crosshair as he loses a little bit more health and has now got Danes coming front and center. And it'll be Smiths and Scream 2 on 3 as Dignitas have control of the A bomb site, and the B defenders will make their move now. And they've tagged up heavily Fetish. He's down to 22 points of health, but if he can get sit in what was the Moto Pit, then he will be a hard obstacle to move. In fact, there are 2 players down there. Device is in there with him. AZ's in on the site, and this is a really tough afterplant for them to take. They get themselves the first, but in the end, Smiths is going to have to surrender, and it'll be Dignitas who kept themselves their 4th round of the game. And Titan will be up against it, because remember, if you're just joining us, it's Dignitas who won map 1.
Oh wow, he also goes down here to Device. Eco round coming in from Smith and his team, and a little bit surprising their movement in the the plant diffuse situation there. They started to throw grenades to the big pit, but they didn't really take any action. Players like Getright, they're like phenomenally good at keeping their grenades for a better purpose instead of just wasting them and hoping for, you know, Lady Fortune to kick in. So yeah, they just delayed themselves, and the bomb was starting to tick, and then they couldn't even run away and save their weapons. So now they're in an extremely bad situation. Probably a double eco coming in here, Stuart.
See Dignitas making their way up the middle. A lot of tagging there. In fact, a lot of fragging as they get themselves too. Scream and Kenny S help themselves to frags, and they were able to get themselves an AK as well. Dupree is there looking to see whether anyone's tempted by that second AK that remains down on the floor. Be interested to see whether he tries to push that away. It
was interesting to see on the mini-map there what happened when they got the 2 kills there. Everybody started to rotate against Bonzo B, but the Danes, they were super cautious. They're just sticking together now and trying to, knowing that they had the weapon advantage at least. They're trying to stick together in here and pick out some kills. Because still, I think it's a fairly big chance here. Dignitas taking this round, nevertheless. Obviously, a great start for Titan in this round.
MBK gets himself a frag. Zipnix is going to return the favor. We are going to run out of Danes very, very soon, because they've only got 7 and 32 points of health between them against a firing squad, as the cavalry is late to come, because Zipnix and Dubstep Dupree have both got themselves killed. It's Smiths or bust, 1 on 2. The bomb is going down. Smith is going to have to move quickly, and he's not going to get it. Dupree gets himself the kill. There wasn't 16 points of health between the 2 of them, and they managed to get themselves 3 kills. You could have licked them, and they would have died, but they survived.
I called it, though. I'm like the octopus in World Cup, you know, he picks the balls. Maybe CSGO Lounge, the people over there should hire me.
What was he called? Paul the Octopus?
I don't know, but he's coming up, right? World Cup.
He's dead.
Oh, no. Is he?
Way to make it.
And I would say England
awkward.
is the same in the group stage, right? Playing like South American teams and all that.
Wow. Making it personal there, Patrick. I'm really looking forward to seeing Sweden.
Didn't even make it there because Cristiano Ronaldo is a beast.
And Zlatan is
unfortunate. He's a great player as well. Speaking about great players, great eco round, obviously, from Titan. Enabled them to buy here. Obviously, quite of a mixture between weapons here. We have a shotgun in the hands of Scream. But yeah, a proper weapon round nevertheless, and Dignitas is cruising through, to getting as many rounds they need as terrorists on this map.
This round, round 7, in honor of Paul the Octopus.
May he rest in peace.
As we see 2 players on Banana Walkway. Bomb over on the far right of the map. Not committed either way though, it's going to move straight back in towards mid. And 3 in A, 2 in B from the Dignitas, from the Titan side.
It's A fake. And now it's getting obvious, but I don't think Titan's going to realize this. Actually, they do, because they have 2 people in one spot B here.
BK will Nade up towards the top. It's going to be Smith to push in. He does spy himself. AZ. Kenny S comes in and returns the favor. Titan 2 frags to the good. And it'll be Smiths who takes 85 points of damage there from one of those Dignitas players up on the banana walkway where the bomb remains. But 2 Dignitas players are not. Titan almost all in on B. 4 players there and the clock will run down. And Dignitas happy to get away with those 2 AKs.
Interesting to see that Titan, they go after the weapons there, considering the money situation they're in. That takes some confidence to do that, because they actually need the weapons more than the Danes need the weapons at this point, at 5-2. And also how the money system is kicking in right now, where we have a Dignitas starting to build up a decent economy. Obviously, they didn't get any losing bonus there, because they saved out. But overall, Dignitas, they are in extremely good shape here. And in terms of talking about the timing of the rounds here, Stuart, it's quite interesting to see again the timing Dignitas are using all the time. The only round they have been like aggressive is the pistol round. The other, what is it now, 7 rounds. It's the same timing, you know. And I wonder why is Titans wasting the grenades early on. What they need to do, they need to just throw out these flashbangs, pop up in the middle, like kind of delayed, and get some information. But right now they're just playing it, yeah. It's very easy for Dignitas to gain momentum here and earn territory here on the map.
Push looking like it's coming A. There are 4 players ready to make their move, 5 players ready to make their move, and MBK is the man sat there. And we'll see Trey coming on the other side. It's Fetish, dispatched by Kenny S. As Titan have themselves the first frag. They've got MBK in the pit, waiting with that FAMAS for someone to come his way. Flash, 1, 2, 3, and now MBK ready to strike. Gets himself a frag into the groin of one of them, but it's AZ who picks him off. Smith comes in and returns the favor. The bomb's planted with 2-on-1 after a massive shooting, and it'll be Device to go straight out and take on 2, which didn't pay off. Titan get themselves their 3rd round out of 8. It will be 5-3 now.
Right, starting to become quite tight here. But once again, I believe, Stuart, we're going to see a weapon round here. I don't know, actually, maybe hold your horses again, ladies and gentlemen, because we are looking at the Dignitas team that is very conservative when it comes to kind of like low buys and whatnot. So instead they are opting to go for the auto pistols, which might be a sensible decision, but at the same time you're waking up the Titans.
We'll see. Titan very much a team of momentum. When they're hot, and when they're not, they're not. And we'll see the Titan side with Kenny S about to see action as he thought about throwing a nade. Lost his kind of opportunity there to pick him off, but his nade is instead set like a mine and gets batches of 1. Dupree's gone down, but Kenny S out for the count, and that'll be an M4 in the hands of Device now. AZ's been picked off. MBK's got 1 coming from above as well, and he'll try to stop him from getting in on the action, but he can't before Zipnix gets himself the kill. 1 more for MBK, perhaps for the hat-trick, as the bomb has been planted by Dignitas. They're going to leave that man in there. It's Fetish who's on the site. And he will push in now, and Device is out for the count. Fetish, last man standing, and he's 1 on 3. He's going to try and make this expensive, or just sneak away, get himself in a position for an exit frag. And so he won't find weapons there either. And in the end, doesn't do anything at the end. Titan pick themselves up 2 rounds in a row. It's 5-4.
See if we can get the mini-map up here. It's not really my corner. Oh, and the mouse is not working, so we're going to probably forget about that.
I wondered why we couldn't switch players earlier.
I need to put it on. That's the beauty of wireless equipment. What I wanted to show, though, was the way that... Actually, we're going to have a rush here, I think, so we're going to wait with that.
Dignitas with 4 players coming up the banana walkway, and they will run into Scream and Existence on that.
Nice.
AZ's AK gets himself 2. Smith and Scream both go down, and they'll now make this next push across towards the B site with Existence leading the charge in, coming into the building site and getting 1 frag, but he's got a second that's just right around to the left. He goes looking for it, but Zipnix is there amidst the blur. MBK will push up the banana walkway. He has Fetish just to his left, and
they need a lucky kill now, otherwise they need to save, which seems to be the option they're going for.
Don't want to lose that AWP.
Right.
So go for your map drawing skills.
Let's see if we have any luck. Yeah, but the way I want Titan to play here against a fairly passive Dignitas is to initially utilize this area and this area, take some peeks, throw grenades down here and down here. Then they should back off and see if you can clean that up and be passive around this area. And maybe have a guy here. What they need to do, let's say at the 50-second mark, they need to throw out they need to like kind of walk up here and throw flashbangs and take over this area, because otherwise you're finding the Danes in a pool position here to start to execute good flashbangs down the big pit and the bomb spot. Because right now they're in somewhere in the middle of these two positionings, and that's something I don't really agree on. The rotation is a little bit off, to put it easy for you guys.
Great drawing skills as well. Interesting.
I blame the mouse actually here.
That was almost. Here we go. Action for MBK, and was a full crosshair above Dupree's head there, and wasn't able to pull it down. It'll be Existence to come around as a flash is in. Existence is got Zipnix eyeing him up. Kenny S has taken damage, but still has his AWP in hand. Device is going to spy one and gets himself the frag onto Scream and pushes in. He just waited a few seconds to see if there was a second man coming. There wasn't. Fetish gets himself the kill onto Existence, and we're down to Smiths and Kenny S for Titan.
Let's see where the bomb is, because I think he's a bit delayed here. He could be killed from behind now.
And in the end, the firing squad turns around and dispatches of Smiths. And Dignitas have themselves the round. It is going to be 7-4 here. Interesting analysis you made there on the minimap, because that was actually the contrary to what we saw in that first map. Titan pushing out a lot of players. They on Mirage, they were pushing for information on B, trying to get themselves a pick, and then fall back. So they were almost, on Mirage, doing the if not the strat, but the mentality that you're asking of them.
So you're wondering why I wasn't here for the first map. Yeah, maybe that's why I helped them. No, but definitely, that's kind of the standard way you should play, I guess, against passive teams. Take some initial peeks with the sniper, throw some like deep grenades down to their defensive positions, then back off, wait for them to waste their grenades, because they need to progressively take over terrain. When they are there, when you hear the flashbangs and you have to kind of sense that they are aggressive, closing up to bomb spot A and B, then you cannot just sit down and wait on a map like Inferno at least, because the rotation is quite severe. It takes a long time to run between the bomb spots, and you need to, you will be down in numbers. We're looking at 5 players here now coming up towards bomb spot B, whereas like we have only 2 players defending there. Scream obviously doing a great job.
Gets himself the first frag. Device goes down. Still no movement from A. Kenny S is now going to make his move across. And that'll be a second frag coming in as AZ is out for the count. Dignitas move in, and Zipnix and Dupree get themselves one more. And Kenny S does get himself on with that FAMAS, but the bomb will go down. This is a 2-on-3 after plant. And let's see how they set themselves up. They've retreated Kenny S out. He waited for reinforcements to come. They now come as well. Fetish is watching Banana, gets himself the frag onto the pincering MBK, and now it's a lot harder as they're going to go 2-on-2 against.
It's like we've seen this before when they're standing outside here and just waiting and probably going to save it. But yeah, 2-on-2, yeah, they must go for it, even if the bomb is ticking now.
There he is. Frag number 1 for Fetish, and the Zipnix surround comes in, and Dignitas do well considering they lost the first 2 kills.
Definitely. But yeah, considering the slow rotation from Titan, it was still like if you're looking at the numbers, they were still in advantage, you know. Of course, as a defender in Bonds B, you should take like at least down 1 or 2 members, but then it's going to end up in an equal plant defuse situations, and that was something that the Danes came out on top of. Looking at the not the prize money, we're going to look at the money of the teams.
$20,000 prize money, by the way.
Great stuff.
It's Device is going to get himself 2 more on what is an eco.
Definitely an eco, and that really sucks. Speaking from my own experience, having it like in round number 13 here, and especially when you're playing it against a team that already have 8 rounds as what we call a weaker side of the map.
It's going to be Dignitas moving up to 9 as well, and Titan in a real spot of bother. How would you? I mean, we're going to move on to the CT side for Titan, where they're going to have to make those changes. What are you going to expect to see from them at the moment?
From Titan when they're T.
Yes, sorry.
Was that the question? Yeah. Well, I think they're just going to stick to their game. If I were the in-game leader, I think you need to tell the guys of your team that you need to kind of just like relax. We know we have a big journey ahead of us, a catch-up game, but they cannot just go back to this kind of standard play style, I would say, because Dignitas, they are completely on top of that. If there are any teams on this planet that like analyzes their opponents, you know, looking for timings, deciding the pistol rounds way in advance, that would be Dignitas. So they need to kind of play a bit aggressive, I would say. Like pop-up timings, you know, don't wait too late, 45 seconds, because Dignitas, they're going to be on top of that. So overall, play aggressive, that's what I would do. And utilize MBK, utilize Scream, utilize these guys' aim, because they are pretty much the best aimers in the world.
And there's KennyS getting himself the frag. And it's interesting that you say, not you say, that Titan have been so passive, given they've got a player like KennyS who is such a roamer, who's such an information grabber, that they've had so little data to kind of, you know, move their team around off.
No, definitely. Even though I would say that Existence has stepped up or reconsidered his style a lot the past 6 months, because looking at Titan in 2013, they were very static. They always had to, like, every round had like 10 steps, and they had to go through all of them. But the way, you always need to adapt, and that's something Scandinavian teams, especially NIP, has been very, very good at. They have some openings, but then again, you kind of build up the round and the next move by great communication and great game sense.
Here we go. Dignitas about to move into KennyS territory as he gets himself the second frag of the round. Sipnix goes down. He'll go looking for a second one. In the end, he'll have bought off more than he can chew. KennyS down. Scream picks off AZ as he came around from the back. The bomb has moved straight through TT spawn and coming over towards B. Device punches down Scream with that AK headshot. It's Fetish little follow suit courtesy of Smiths, who is going to go one-on-one with the last man up for Team Dignitas. This is Smith's round, though, as he gets two, and he gets Titan back on the board. But to go back to that KennyS point, we saw him push up through the apartment. He got himself that ult frag, and you're thinking, right, go free.
Mm-hmm.
And they took...
Let him loose.
Yeah, and
well,
they shackled
as a sniper,
him back on the
you
right.
should actually not go the Dalpan style, so to speak. You get one kill, you get like really pumped, and you want to get the next one. He did quite well there, to be honest with you. He got the information, got the kill, he had 100 health left. He should probably rotate to bomb spot B, though. I would like to just quickly comment here.
But this side, he's always right side of A. They know exactly where KennyS is, and they can guess. If he's got money, he'll be with an AWP. If he doesn't have money, he'll have a FAMAS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, KennyS is definitely one of the best, like, peaking AWPers. He's extremely good at that. And it seems like Existence again, is agreeing with him being aggressive than before, at least.
Good nade there. Takes out, 90 points of health almost from two players. And
what do we do now? They're asking themselves. But look at the rotation here from Titan. It's only 3 there.
Double hit from Existence as AZ and Dupree both go down. And MBK helps himself to one more as well. They have got one of their own, but they're losing men fast now, Dignitas. And they just fell into the trap.
9-6. Still a very open game. That's kind of what people want us to say, but it definitely is, you know. The pistol round, let's say, that goes in favor of Titans. Boom, 9-9.
Boom, Cadian. And we'll see. At the moment, Dignitas are just some 7 rounds away from charging into the winner bracket final.
Let's see here what Dignitas has decided to do.
This is the first of 3 matches coming for you today. 3 more coming for you tomorrow. And then that's it. The FACEIT CSGO Spring League is over.
More to come.
Oh, Patrick confirming that there's more to come. Rumors.
Breaking news.
Breaking news from Patrick Khan-Sadamon that FNATIC need
Well,
KennyS.
why I'm saying that is I think this has been a great tournament, you know. I mean, it's played online, but it's great prize money, it's great teams. And we're seeing MBK here and his team like penetrating bomb spot B, and Planet is going to go down any second. Who saw that one coming? That happened in a split second.
And Dupree gets himself a frag onto Scream as Dignitas will go in. Bomb planted with 4 on 4. And it'll be Fetish to try and reclaim from the right-hand side. It's Dupree in on Existence as they wall bangs to victory. KennyS gets himself a frag onto AZ. MBK and KennyS combine, and that leaves just Device. And he's the last man up in a very tough spot. And he goes down at the hands of Smiths. And
MBK played that so smart, because as soon as there was some action happening, he knew that now is the time for me to peek, because the opponent that is probably looking at my direction is going to look somewhere else, because, you know, as soon as someone dies, communication started to flow in into your team speak in this case, and then he just peeks up, gets a free headshot, wins the round for them.
What was your preferred message of play? Here, you're playing in a very high-profile, high-value tournament online on your home PC in your pajamas. In LAN, you've got the pressure, the fans, the crowd. What do you prefer?
I prefer the online leagues.
You're a pajama
No,
man?
sorry. Let me rephrase that. I prefer the on-site tournaments, like
no.
the fan engagement and all that. But I would say, you used the word high profile, it's still super competitive. It's still Counter-Strike as it should be when you play online. But you are actually removing an element, which is obviously getting a bit nervous, a little bit more pressure from the crowd and whatnot. Similar to any other sport, I guess. It's actually in the big arenas where it should happen. But obviously, again, this is an amazing tournament, and it's great for the Counter-Strike fans as well.
And you can see Dignitas without weapons sinking quickly to Titan's pistol round conversion part 1. And we'll save one more time so that we go into what will be a tie game buy round.
So one of my problems with Dignitas, I respect them a lot. I think they have done phenomenally well, and they've been super consistent the past, 3-4 months, this year, essentially. But they are so damn predictable when it comes to these low buys. You know that they're going to go for double eco. That's a flaw in their game. You should be more like, I guess, Navi or maybe FNATIC, how we used to be back in the days in 1.6. Maybe how we are today, actually, in fact, when it comes to buying. It's random buys. That is good sometimes. But when you do know your opponent is not going to buy, it's so much easier. You don't need to spend the grenades. You don't need to buy weapons yourself. And that's something that probably Titan is on top of here, looking at Kenny S. He sticks to his pistol.
Nades, and more nades.
So much being the octopus.
Yeah.
Predicting. But no, overall, they are super predictable. They are safe, but that's not always good.
And we're down to just 2 Titan players, Existence and MBK coming through, and they know exactly where MBK is, and they've lost Existence as well. So MBK going to have to go for an ace here. He's got himself 2, but he has just 13 points of health left. He's going up against Zipnix, AZ, and Device as he will push through. One still set up on B, making sure that he hasn't rotated all the way around. He does have the bomb as well. This would be phenomenal from MBK. 25 seconds are going to become a big factor to play as he walks back towards the smoke and
switches to the knife.
towards Device, who shuts him down. And there shall be no romance on this round as Team Dignitas.
Let's see if Zipnix decides to stick to the Galil here. Because if they win this round, I'm pretty sure they're going to go ahead and get like the 16 rounds they need. But if Titan now, because they have a great economy still, because they had Galils and pistols, it's still going to be very open. So I wouldn't be too surprised if Zipnix would have picked up a Colt here. But yeah, he sticks to the Galil, so maybe some aggression coming from him at this point. He's going to serve as a scout, basically, because you don't want to have a Galil like late game.
See him eyes on the banana walkway as Kenny S is at the foot of it with that AWP and has taken some damage from a grenade. He's down to 56 points of health as he spies a chicken.
Look at that chicken. Dances like me when I'm drunk, basically.
I've seen you dance, Patrick. It's a beautiful
great,
sight.
right? Thanks.
It's like a Swedish John Travolta. And here you go. Kenny S is looking over to his favorite position on the left. Didn't see anyone. Would have done. There's a Pika coming. And he's now assuming that his kind of back's clear. As he's making his way around the corner. But he has Smith coming behind him, covering his back. Oh, that was Smith's chance. Sorry, that was Kenny S.'s chance. And in the end, he took damage down to 8 points of health. He collects the bomb and falls to the back of the line. As Titan now ready to make their move in towards that A site. They have Kenny S. now spying down towards the pit.
Look at the rotation. There's only 3 Dignitas members here still, even that they have been so much firepower, sorry, not firepower, but fire exchange happen here on Bomb.A. So they're super delayed now, and I think Titan might actually go and win this round, even if it's only 10 seconds left.
Scream gets himself 1. Kenny S. Oh, 3 big frags for Dignitas. AZ with 3 of them all as Existence comes in, and AZ helps himself to frag number 4. It's Existence versus AZ, and AZ gets himself the 8th. He just
that was
sat
ridiculous.
Deep in the site, and then boom, in the words of Cadian, they came knocking on that A site, and he swept them away.
You know, I talked earlier about like adapting and just changing up your game, considering what information you get, what kind of action you get, and just take a solid decision. But this, Stuart, wasn't a nice round, a beautiful round from either party here. We saw Dignitas sticking with 2 guys in Bomb.B, even that it was obvious that at least 3 or 4 members from Titan was attacking Bomb.A, and just how that execution went in the end. Like, Icy, the new player in Dignitas, getting an ace from that positioning is like just incredible, man.
And he saw Kenny S with that AWP. The moment he went down to 8 points of health, he was almost useless from that point forward because he's coming in short-range positions.
And he picked up the bomb. And Inferno is not a bomb. It's like, sorry, it's not a map similar to Mirage where you want to have low HP when you are the bomb carrier, because you can easily throw a grenade and you're gonna die. Simple as that. So again, I mean, sometimes Titan really surprises you with their decision making. I mean, they have the plan, they know how to play the game, but the execution, the communication, and this kind of split-second crucial decision making, they're not on top of that.
Dignitas 4 rounds to the good and 4 rounds away from victory here, which would be a 2-map win for them and set them up in the winner bracket final.
Surprised?
I thought we'd see 3 for sure, but you could see Dignitas from Mirage were looking hot, and they were more than happy to take on Titan's map choice. Scream gets himself the frag onto AZ,
and now now Sypnix and Fetish find themselves in a dilemma. One guy goes down in A and they're super aggressive in bombs and B, so they need to either go aggressive, which they go for that decision, or back off. But now actually what they are going to do is to save out, which makes a lot of sense. Quickly looking at the money situation now, they can afford again, and we see Titan desperately in need of this round.
Titan have to get away with all 5 players. If Dignitas suddenly get 3 exit kills, it makes it a really wasteful round from Titan's perspective, given that they have 5 men to the good right now, and Dignitas aren't even going to go looking for those. It's 12, about to be 9.
This seems to be a day of surprises so far. MBK with the sniper instead of
Oh,
Kenny, but I guess they're going to trade now in the freeze time.
We saw one round in the in Mirage where we had 3 snipers on Team Titan.
Yeah, that's great. Let me guess, Smith, MBK. No, actually, yeah, MBK and Kenny then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't work, they lost. And here we go. So, at the point in the game we're at, I'm going to say one thing and you can assume it's for every round left. This is a crucial round, as Titan are on the precipice. Their money's a little better now, but we're going to exchange some frags as MBK goes down. Existence revenges as Fetish is going to come through. Kenny S down to 29 points of health as well as we on board with Smiths, who is waiting to see whether anyone pushes out of apartments. They don't. And Zipnik smokes down to the bottom.
I like the confidence he's playing with here now. He's by himself and he hasn't called for backup even. You see the rotation. Still gets a frag with Kenny S, a very important one. And he keeps this so protected right now, obviously utilizing the smoke grenade, and also another grenade he's about to throw here. Solid play, basically. Great decision making from Sypnix.
He will sit still waiting there, and when you've got one man just holding on, and it's similar to Neo when he plays this round, when he plays this map, he can just sit on the banana walkway, and you know you've got one man that you can trust to hold on.
Right, but from the other team's perspective, actually, if I were the in-game leader or even a player in Titan, I would expect them to be 2 people there, because you wouldn't think that someone can be so confident playing there by himself.
Device gets himself the headshot onto Smiths, and here we go. Titan begin to fall like flies. It's Existence 1 on 4 with the bomb. Walks up Banana and is very nervous.
I think the ring carrier here gonna,
15 seconds to go.
Save. It's great he can pick up the sniper though. He doesn't really need this exit kill though. He should probably just save it, because he's quite low at 32 health, and I do think Dignitas player is going to realize now he's saving, but it's going to be too late for them. They're on the other side of the map. They should have been more aggressive. They shouldn't have been afraid of Existence here, I think.
Dignitas 13, Titan 9. The Danes looking very, very good right now, and they're 3 away from glory. What would you change at this point in time for Titan?
I mean, they are limiting themselves sticking to the AWP in terms of the pace of the game. Maybe surprised them a bit by going aggressive, considering the fact you have AWP, because that is something that would be a surprise for Dignitas. Because when you do have it, what I'm saying here is when you have a T-sniper, people are going to expect you to play passively. And Titan is, they're trying to go for that, but as soon as the smoke comes down in the middle, they just decide to back off. Which was the right decision here, though, because, they threw so many grenades there.
You can see Dupree moving down, gets himself a big kill onto MBK, and then quickly retreats back. Oh, the grenade catches him as he's escaping. Good work from Existence there. And they're trying to move Kenny S into a position, and every time they get somewhere with Kenny S, there's a nade, there's a player, there's something that stops him from expressing himself in his most violent fragging ways as Device is going to...
If you only knew.
If he only knew that there was frags galore waiting for him. He gets one, gets two. Lovely work from him. Scream comes in, dispatches of AZ. Device tries to escape and can't quite finish off the third that was Existence. Titan 2-on-2. Zipnix and Fetish still fully health. Oh, not anymore. Zipnix, last man standing, 99 points of health. Up against Existence and Scream as he'll move in towards, through the smoke and in towards that A site as he pushes in, retreats around the side, and goes looking for frags. He just comes firing in all cylinders. Can he finish off the job? He's got 21 points out versus Scream 67, and Scream completes a hat-trick of frags and wins the round for Titan.
I don't know why he jumped on the box before he finished the reload. But then again, it's very easy to see it here by saying this, but playing against Scream in a one-on-one, you know he's gonna go for the kill. Like, he's gonna aim. He's not gonna lurk you like Get Right or Neo or someone like that with a better movement. And I think Zipnix got a bit stressed, even that the bomb didn't tick too much, and he jumped on the box while reloading, and that was the end of his round.
It is 13-10. And the Titan side are just still in with a chance here. As they push in, they're up against a fully armed Dignitas once more, and a Galil on MBK. Shows you the brevity of the Titan situation financially. In fact, two Galils in the arsenal of Titan. They group mid.
Yeah, they have a nice setup here. Dignitas, that is. But with some great flashbangs, they can probably counter this. And off they go.
Push comes in, Device and Dupree have frags 1 and 2, and suddenly Titan are running out of men pretty quickly. Kenny S the only one to get one, as he's going to help himself to a second as well, but with his 7 points of health and 3 Dignitas players to beat, he's going to get the bomb down, and then have to defend this as he goes in, gets himself the headshot. Can he get the next one? That's 4. Kenny S on fire. Him versus Zipnix. Zipnix, another man, equally hot right now, as Kenny S goes for the ace against all odds. Zipnix comes in. Kenny S can't do it.
That was close, though. That was amazing from him. He just went bananas there. He just went for the aim. Whereas the Dignitas player would just think, like, how can he do this to us? Like, why is not, like, backing off? Nice shot they're riding as well. Yeah, really, really nice. A lot of nice shots from Kenny S there, and nice individual performance, though. But eventually, his health points weren't enough.
He was a millisecond away from having his crosshair on Zipnix, though. And it'll be 14-10 Dignitas. They're 2 away from taking the game. And you can see that ragtag of weapons that Titan have gone. They don't want to let this get to match point. They've 2 CZs, a Galil, an AK. They're going to try to make a game of this. But they know that Dignitas...
How brutal.
Yeah. Well, that pretty much summed up Dignitas.
That one, I think.
Nade chops off 27 points of Smith's health, and Device.
Oh, look at that.
We'll see action here. He jumps around and then goes firing into a number of flashbang players. It's Smiths and Scream that will follow up, and he should get the third. He does. Dignitas have 5, and that'll take them to 15-10. Titan have 5 match points to save and very little money to do it with.
Somewhat of a lemming train they're running along. Just sliced around with the knives instead of, peeking.
You think kids remember lemmings these days?
I doubt it.
I wish they did. And now you'll see Zipnix push down towards Banana. There's going to be a 4-5-man push up there as well. And he will...
Yeah, they obviously have entered somewhat of an all-in mentality here now. Looking at Existence, just running in bombs, what we try to pick them out. Gets one, though.
There's Zipnix with 2 in return, as he will go up for looking for frag number 3. Headshot onto Kenny S will be exactly that. Almost takes out his teammate. Smiths is going to get himself a frag onto AC, but they're 1 man away from the magic number 16. And it is Smiths against Dignitas to save the game. And he won't. Dignitas are up, and they move on to the winner bracket final, where they will face the winner of Team LDLC versus Virtus.pro. I will try that all again another time. Khan, your closing thoughts on Dignitas' performance?
Dignitas just played a better team game, basically. So many small errors added up to just a big mess for Titan. Like the bomb was in the wrong hands, the timings were off, Existence was left by himself, whereas he should have taken the lead, I think. And Dignitas, solid game. I think we saw specifically like great individual performance from Supnix, protecting bomb spot B completely by himself, open up rotation towards bomb spot A, where the most of the attacks happened for Titan. So yeah, a little bit surprising and not that Titan we are so used to when it comes to the tactical part of the game and the team play.
Well, just one closing thought from me. Khan is off to a Dota event tonight, and look what he's wearing. He's like, screw you guys,
I probably
CS
have
to the
change
end.
up here.
No, don't change. Go in there and be like,
Dota
come at
cosplay
me.
or something like that.
Yeah, come at me. Yeah, no, please don't. Right, let's throw it over to DDK and James for their thoughts on that game between Titan and Team Dignitas.
All right, thanks, Stuart. Okay, so a very interesting game again, and I feel like we saw a lot of Mirage in this Inferno as well. Some things, some similarities going on. Do you want to start off the analysis, James?
Well, I'm going to start off kind of in reverse on the second half, since we just saw it. Some differences we saw on the CT side from Dignitas is that, like they were a lot more aggressive on B, for example. Like they kind of cut Banana off there. In some rounds they flashed in, naded in, and tried to push down Banana. In some other rounds they just kind of strolled down unannounced, got a pick. We saw one guy try to run back, got naded by NBK. In other situations they stayed kind of around here on the CT side, the CT logs as opposed to the T logs. So they kind of and sometimes they closed down B quite well. We did see that one round from Titan as well when they had Kenny S there. He got 2 picks on Banana, then he ran round back to A. They switched it up, but then Dignitas got a pick on the guy who was still on B. So I think they just had a better CT round. Dignitas did.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I was looking at the first half, I was seeing, I think, again, I saw a lot of Mirage in there. It felt like we were seeing a Titan that was a little bit maybe self-limited, a bit too static, a bit too passive.
One-dimensional, maybe?
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, not proactive enough on the CT side. We weren't seeing enough dominance being taken over Banana. When we're looking at Dignitas, we see a side where, Zipnix and Fetish, they're usually akin to, let's say, sheepdogs. They're trying to herd their terrorist opponents towards the A bomb site where their defense is really strong. And of course, the defense is strong on Banana as well. They try to set up a multi-layered defense on Banana. So they try they try to pressure it, they try to get deep. And we didn't really see good challenges there. I think that Titan they could have put more effort to try to break that, because it seemed as though Dignitas were playing very freewheely and Titan weren't limiting them enough. And we saw a very limited Titan on CT as well. But when it went over to the T half, it started off really well for them. They started to play very fluid, and it felt like we were really starting to see a lot of the individual stars coming alive. But then as things started to get a bit tough, again it felt like Kenny S not maybe put into some spots where he's not playing the Kenny S style, the thing that really is strong for him, these awkward spots, these crazy pushes. And I think that if Titan are going to find Kenny S or let him have more responsibility over where he's playing, maybe they're going to experience some better results, because it feels like we're not seeing. I mean, he's still fragging like crazy. He's doing amazing fragging. Yeah. But on the CT half, I think we only saw him be successful with 2 aggressive picks. And other than that, they didn't really get any other pressure, like strong pressure on Dignitas. Dignitas did what they wanted.
Yeah, I think there were 2 really critical rounds for Dignitas as well. The first one is they lost the second half pistol, but then they won the eco, and that was that they kept Tyson short for a long time. So they had a really good economical advantage. And then the big clutch was from AZ on the A bombs in the middle of the A bomb site. He had some fairly good cover from the box in the middle of site, but again, he took out 2 people at the same time on quad, also known as short, which was pretty key, and then took out the guy coming from Arch Library. But he got a 5-man basically from the bomb site, where I think they lost the guy early on that round, and they had 4 guys, and they had to play passive, but the passive hold was really good. They kind of wasted a lot of time for Titan. I think at that time there were about 20 seconds left, so it's not like they could eliminate every section at the same time, which is why you had 2 guys running down quad. They both got taken up by AZ at the same time. They had maybe they waited too long, or maybe Dignitas' defense was just, you know, kind of held them back with smokes, etc. But they didn't have enough time, and AZ got a huge 5-man clutch from the bomb site, and they weren't able to even get a bomb plant from that. So, you know, not only was that a massive round for them to take and get a financial advantage, there was no, you know, bomb plant bonus as well, which is $800 per man, which does make a difference, especially when you're buying an AWP. So those two clutches were really, really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, there was also that one amazing round, which has to be another highlight, which was the eco situation where they're all kind of around A, and they all bought HEs. And again, this is a period at the match where Titan was starting to build a lot of momentum going into the T half. They're playing really fluid, really dynamically. It was working out great. Then all those nades come charging in right there on CT Arch area, and they got the bomb down, and they managed to win that round, get a load of guns, completely breaking the bank of Titan. So it felt like then, you know, the pressure started to mount on Titan, and they started to play a bit more static because of that, and some of their advantage and edges disappeared along with that. So definitely, my summary here is going to be that Titan definitely feel like the team with amazing potential. Like, their results could be just through the roof, but they're finding their feet still with these new setups, with how to work this lineup that they have. And Dignitas, they've gelled so well as a team. Even with AZ coming in now, they look so comfortable within their own game. So
AZ has slotted in very, very, very well, like a piece of toast in a toaster. He's just become very strong for them. But the Titan change, it's one personnel change, but at the same time it's two, because obviously you've got Shoxy going and you've got an AWPer coming in, which changes the dynamic, but also the style of AWPers change. You've got Smithsy, who's a more defensive, static, you kind of hold the line AWPer. A guy who can kind of, you know, hold short on Dust 2 very well. Then you've got Kenny S, who's a dynamic AWPer. He's fine with his back against the wall. He's probably the most clutch AWPer in the entire game. But you have to apply a different approach for a different AWPer. So I think that's something, that gel is still in flux, and it needs to kind of settle for Titan. Right. Hopefully that happens soon. Actually,
we can probably use the map to... There was one spot we had the Devilwalker who's sitting beside us, and I was actually commenting on this very fact. Of course, there was this standard line where Kenny S was fell back all the way to Small Pit, like just outside Library, and Devilwalker was saying, okay, this is the theoretically the correct spot where you want to put an AWPer to hold line. He was pushed also with the other... I think he had... his support from the A-bomb site and pits. They're all the way back, and so that's a solid line. That's very standard. That's theoretically, you know, a correct thing. But you want kind of Smiths to be there, not Kenny S. Kenny S could maybe have been on CT Arch, and then he has loads of room to move around. He can fall back to Speedway. He can go to Library. He can, you know, go to a further back angle on Arch. He has a lot more to play with, and that's more Kenny S. That's more Kenny S.
Yeah, that's what he's made to do. Kind of like Lady Gaga. He was born this way, so.
And that's a great note to go to the break. So thanks for watching, guys. Of course, way more action coming up here today. We have LDLC and Virtus.pro to look forward to. So many sick games. Tweet about it. Stay tuned. We'll be back